Hello everybody, this is John Hardy on The John Hardy Show, and with me in the studio I have got Simon Loader, and Simon is the MD of a really interesting consultancy firm here in the city of Perth called éxito. And so Simon, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me, John.
It's really, really cool. So tell us about yourself, family, and this interesting company called éxito.
Okay, so I've always loved business since a young age, I suppose, and a lot of people would call me entrepreneurial, don't particularly like the word, but I was 19 when I started my first business. I convinced Dad to give me sort of $15,000, which I wasted, unfortunately. And then at 21, I started another company called Student Edge with some mates from high school and at university, and over 7 or 8 years, we built it to a bit of an enterprise, and now it's Australia's largest student organisation. It's called Student Edge, and we have 1 million members Australia-wide. And a lot of people would come to me, John, and say, you know, you seem to know a little bit about business. Can you give me some advice? And so we started the consulting firm in 2013. So running 6 years now, and just really trying to provide the knowledge and advice to small to medium-sized enterprises that often they can't afford the good advice. So we try to get it funded through grants.
Yeah.
We do some business planning and strategy, and then we help them to grow through either capital or making the connection so that they can sell.
Yeah.
So that's us. That's it in a nutshell.
So what about Simon? Married, family?
Me?
Tell us a little bit about that.
Married to a beautiful Mexican girl, Andrea. I've got 2 fantastic children, Jessica and Ethan, who are 10 and 3. They're like little balls of light, to be honest. Ethan's up at 4:30 and keeping Dad and Mum on their toes, and the little girl's just a good-hearted girl. I think she'd probably end up being a doctor, but she loves her basketball and all the fads that come out, Shopkins, and Ethan loves his soccer and his basketball, and Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
So got a blessed family life, and I'm one of many kids. So there's five kids. So I was always blessed to be around a lot of people, and just good-hearted people as well. So
It's interesting. You actually have your dad involved in the business as well, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know how I roped him into it, but Dad actually funded the business 6 years ago, put the seed capital in to get us started, and he works in the business doing export grants, and he's the chairman of the company, and he's late 60s now, so try to get him only to do a few days a week.
Yeah.
So try to take most of the responsibility off him.
So tell us about your role within the company.
Okay, so obviously one of the founders. My current role is as managing director. So really my job is to help execute the strategic plan of the business. So we have a vision, a mission, a series of values. We have internal KPIs, and my role is to build the team, the tasks, and manage the business to achieve those goals. And really, there's 2 things that I have to do: is really manage the team, which is crucial.
Yeah.
And 2 is to make sure that the specific tasks and the goals and the outcomes are achieved. So that's how I define my role. Obviously, there's some governance and compliance, and the directorship, which make sure that you've got all your ticks on all your different things. So responsible for the business outcome on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
So it's good. It's got its challenges.
Yeah.
It's we're privileged to be a rapidly growing organisation, which interestingly the name éxito is, like I said before, my wife's name Andrea. She's from Mexico. And we named éxito after the word éxito, which means success in Spanish. And we didn't want people to leave the business quite yet. We wanted to help them to build successful businesses. So the name means success. And so we strive to really be successful ourselves as people, and to help our customers be successful.
So describe a typical client and the kind of work that an éxito would do with them.
So there's two or three, we have two or three real different, call them customer segments. So we have established businesses that are 3 years plus, $1.5 million turnover to $100 million turnover. That's still classified as SME by the federal government. And really with those guys, we're helping them to, maybe increase turnover, or to become more efficient, or to come up with the right strategies for growth. So really, and they're very broad range. So we deal with manufacturers, food and agriculture, a bit of mining, a bit of oil and resources, oil and gas, and also medical and pharmaceuticals, and anyone that sort of supports them as well. So for instance, we're working with engineering companies that support the mining industry. So they're another sort of, anyone that supports those 5 key industry bodies. We also work a lot with startup technology. And so that's probably, the majority of our clients sit in that area. But we do work with a lot of startups as well. And I suppose our background being in so many startups over the years and helping people start businesses, we've got a lot of knowledge in how you can do it intelligently.
Yes.
So that's about 10 to 20% of our client base. We also do a fair bit with not-for-profits. And we love working with the not-for-profits in terms of the strategy, because a small change in thinking can have a big change in the sustainability of these organisations. So I'd really classify our business as strategy. That's what we do very well. And it's great working with you, actually, because this one thing to write a strategy on a piece of paper, but how do you execute that?
Yes.
And that's really where you've...
And that was going to be one of my next questions, is to have a conversation about, you brought me in as a coach. So what kind of work are we doing together that's helping you?
So the main thing is people... Okay, I'll give you some examples. There was one company that I consulted to, and we had a fantastic idea. They were a costume place, and they on a very high traffic location. They had 40,000 cars in the morning go past their shop, 40,000 in the afternoon. And we said to them, well, why don't you get one of your staff members to go out in a costume, Alice in Wonderland, and wave a wobble board and say, get your costumes, just to create some kind of awareness. Now, strategies are only as good as the execution.
Yes.
Now, that lady did it for 2 or 3 days, got great results, and then she stopped.
Wow.
She forgot it. And the advantage of having, like yourself, coaches, advisors, mentors, is that really they're the connection between a good idea and the result.
Yes.
Because if you don't get it done,
and
you're not accountable to it, nothing happens. Often you hear people like, oh, I've got a great idea for this thing. Oh, I'll change the world, better mousetrap. But if you do not act, you do not have an outcome. And that's actually why when I was 19, I failed. Because Dad gave me, when Dad gave me that money as a youngster, he gave me $15,000, and we had a series of training courses. I bought 2 computers, which set me back $5,000, $2,000 worth of brochures, so that's 7. I put some ads in the newspaper, and then wasted a couple of other dollars on some other things, and the money was gone. And I sat back, and I actually didn't even budget to send the brochures out. I just paid for the printing. I was so stupid. Anyway, and I sat there and I did nothing. I waited for an outcome that never happened. And what I love about you is that you can relate to the clients and give them things to do that are going to connect that strategy with what's real. So that's what we're working on.
Absolutely. So it is interesting that éxito sits in a unique place in strategy, that it wants to do a little bit more than just have a plan on paper. Tell us a little bit about the width and depth and height of that for a client, and the G word that you talked a little bit about.
Yeah. Growth.
No, grants.
Grants. Grants.
That G word. Yeah,
Okay.
growth is important. But yeah, because
Okay.
that's quite unique.
Yep.
And I've done a lot of business around a lot of businesses, and a lot of businesses really understand this space.
Okay. So I think talking about the grants is that, often, we've got to, as professionals, we have to pay our staff.
Yes.
We have to pay the guys to write documentation. We have to pay, and it's not cheap. Well, not in Australia. I mean, wages aren't, compared to overseas. So it's very hard as a business to, people go, oh man, that's so expensive, with no justification of what is value.
Yeah, that's right.
So what we did is we discovered that, we had through Student Edge, we had applied for R&D and a few grants. So we really did this deep dive into federal and state and actually international. We know about global grant structures. Singapore's got amazing grants. Hong Kong, there's Iran, there's so many different really good grant places. So what we found is that there's so much available, but people are resistant because they think, oh, it's too hard.
Yes.
Or, it's too competitive. But there are actually grants out there that aren't competitive. You just have to apply. If you meet the criteria, you get either a rebate or a authority to forward spend. So on average, I think we've calculated that for a SME in Australia, in one of the 5 core verticals, like advanced manufacturing, food and agri, there's around about 212,000 in the first year. So that's entrepreneurs program, export grant if they sell their widgets overseas, and R&D. And they're common to so many businesses.
Yes.
And the other thing is that the government doesn't particularly want to promote that they give away incentives. You can't call it free money. It's not a free money.
No, it's not free money.
It's you're planning to do something and you get support.
That's right.
It's a hand up.
Yes.
It's not a handout.
Yeah, correct. And the business needs to understand they need to be willing to invest.
Correct.
Don't they? It's really important.
Yeah. Most of the time it's 50-50.
Yep.
So, for instance, if you're going to spend $40,000 putting in new software into your company, and you can see that, and the government can see that it's going to improve your business, they will give you 20.
Yep.
But you have to give them the receipt for 40.
Yes.
So they'll match you.
Yes.
The R&D tax incentive is 43.5 cents in the dollar if you're in a loss-making position, and 13.5 cents if you're in a profit-making position. But it's still good.
Yeah.
Accelerating commercialization's up to $1 million.
Yeah.
So and that's only 4.
But it's interesting for businesses to understand their own mindset in that space.
Yep.
It's not just about put your hand out and give me free money.
No.
If you are creative and in a sense work with us, the whole passion we have in writing the documentation is so we can release the potential for you in so many ways.
100%.
Just want to open that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a really good point because, and hopefully there's not too many accountants watching, because traditional business, people are satisfied with a 10% growth.
Yes.
I mean, our business grew 400% last year.
Yeah.
And that, painful, you still have growing pains, but we tried to create businesses that are dynamic in growth.
Yeah.
And the way that you do that, you know, there was a guy that I worked with when we were at Student Edge, and he spoke about you plan the plan and then you resource the plan,
Yes.
and then you execute the plan.
Yes.
Now, most people are kind of like they're closed into what is the potential.
Yep.
Whereas someone's like, oh, you know, let's aim for $500,000 next year. I'll say, what's the point? Because you're not dreaming. There's no vision there. What is the point if you're, say, just open up a new business and you're just going for mediocre? I'll turn those clients away. We want to work with customers that will dream big and have a big vision, and then if they shoot for the stars, old cliche, they'll land on the moon.
Yes.
They ain't going to get stuck down here.
That's right. Yeah.
But the first thing is with planning is plan for a big outcome.
Yeah.
And then resource it. So, you know, people often say to me, they're like, you know, do you think someone would put $500,000 into my business? And I said, you know, if it's big enough and if it's going to be profitable, often it's easier to get 10 million than it is to get $500,000.
Yeah.
Because people like the big,
Yes,
big returns and the big dreams and the big vision. So yeah, we encourage people to, you know, kind of dream a bit when they're doing their business plan.
So, because it's interesting, because not only do we work on the strategic element of the business plan, the investor memorandum, presentation, the pitch deck, etc.
Yep.
But we actually work on two dynamics of money, and that is grants,
Yep.
but also investors,
Yeah.
which is really interesting. And there's a whole bunch of investors out there, isn't there?
There's heaps.
Tell us a little bit about that world, because a lot of people don't realise in the world there is investors looking for big vision businesses, and they want to tell us what we're doing in that space.
So, look, it's a very interesting space, and typically you find people that are wealthy or they've got lots of money actually don't have the passion or the drive or the vision. They just don't have it. They've got money, but you know they don't want to go and start a business.
No.
So, but they're happy to fund a business if it's in line with their investment.
Because they'd like their money to make money, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's what they want it to do.
Yeah.
And they don't care, in a sense, they've got some values about it, but yeah.
Yep. So look, there's, the first thing you sort of do if you're raising capital is to go, do you want someone to be involved in your business or be silent?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, for me, silent money is not very intelligent money. You want someone that's actually, opening the doors and growing your business. And then is it institutional, or is it high net worth individual, or a family office, or is it a group funding strategy? So is it a combination of private money and debt?
Yep.
There's so many options.
Yes.
There's so many options. Really, it comes down to what we found is about 4 or 5 things about your business.
Yeah.
One is the leadership team.
Yes.
If you don't look like you can, if you don't sort of walk the walk and talk the talk, people won't want to invest in you.
Everything rises and falls on leadership.
It does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And astute investors will examine the management structure, the board structure, what's their experience, what's their qualifications, have they done this before?
Yes.
So a lot rides on that. The second thing is what's the time frame of my return? So, like some people want to get their money back within 24 months. Some are happy to ride it for 5 years. It's really, once again, it's what's the return and when.
Yeah.
Third is the scalability. So if someone's putting money in, they don't want it to sort of just be stuck in a single market, because that's just, they can put the same amount of money in a opportunity that has scalability. And the last thing is the market opportunity. Is this a green fields? Is this something that there's so much competition that you're never going to get good margins because there's too many people in that space? Is it something that's innovative? 'They're the 4 things that we find investors will examine And we build the pitch decks and
Yeah.
the business plans answering those questions.
Yeah. And sales forecasting and
Sales, good
sales
numbers.
training and that's right, absolutely. So it's a comprehensive plan.
Very much
So
so.
we put a few hours into it, don't we?
Yeah. Well, the staff reckon 200 hours, but I still reckon more.
Yeah.
I still think there's more because I don't think they count all the client sort of backwards and forwards and, so there's at least 300 hours in there.
So businesses are listening to us.
Yep.
And they're saying, I think I don't fit. And I think that it's the reverse. Many businesses actually fit.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we help them understand how they can actually fit in this space of getting really good quality planning, research, implementation strategies through a company like éxito? So how do we help them answer that question so they don't, too hard, too difficult, too it's not me, etc. Because there is many that are ready and need it. So how do we help them answer that question?
So how do they fit in with what we do?
How do they change their mindset to realise there is real potential for them to connect to a company like éxito, to engage in this kind of process to really help their business that they've got inside them, but they're thinking, I don't know what to do next.
I think it's free. It's always free to chat.
Yeah.
It's always free to, unless we're actually grinding out and doing strategy and doing research and doing numbers, etc. People's advice is people's advice. You can,
Yes.
It's free. Advice is free.
Yes.
And I think it's for the business owners. They need to go and talk it out.
Yes.
If we went down this path, how would it help us? Or what is the process? How do we do a workshop about our vision or mission?
Yeah.
Or how do we unlock the value in our products and services? So really, it's about conversation.
Yes.
For our customers, we sit down for a coffee. If we can't help, we'll walk away because our reputation is it's not on the line. So if we can't help someone, we'll say thanks for your time. We can't help. Great to meet you. See you again.
But there's many businesses, hundreds have come through, haven't they, over the years? And you've helped quite a lot.
We've helped lots and
Yes.
lots and lots and lots of businesses.
So that's what I'm saying. There's lots of businesses out there that if you will only ask the question and engage in the conversation, it could be quite surprising what is actually will enable you to take those next steps that you think are barriers, but we can actually overcome them.
100%.
Yes.
And look, it can actually be quite a small thing. It can be quite a small thing. Like a set of independent eyes can pick up things very quickly with big outcomes compared to someone within their own business. And it's quite funny because as the managing director, I get caught in the business.
Yes.
And it takes for me to sit out and talk to my advisors and go, this is where we're at. What do you recommend? Where should we go here? And give me some help with this. And so, and those changes and that advice can be significant, very significant, with a small bit of external knowledge. I'll give you an example.
Yeah, great.
We have one customer who does solar lighting. And they do 3 kinds of solar lighting. They do solar lighting for camps, so it's like a $50, hang it up your campsite. They have a $200 range for homes, and then they have wholesale, large industrial lighting. So, and I was trying to explain, because these guys are focused on one-off $50 transactions. And I was trying to explain to them that you have to have so many transactions and they're all small, which is good because it's turning the wheels. It's not making significant profit.
Yeah.
So you have to sell 4 of these lights for for one of those.
Yeah.
Sorry, 4 of those for one of those.
Yes.
And then, but their industrial lighting, they could have one customer that would do the whole year of what they do in $50 lights.
Yeah.
I said, where's your time best spent? Why would you not go and aim for one customer that completely changes it? And for risk mitigation, still tick your $50 ones.
Yep.
Go and get, so 50, 50, 50, 50, and aim for one, big one.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, they double
Yes.
overnight.
Yes.
Just from getting one larger contract.
Yep.
And interestingly, it takes about as much time to convince a $50 one as a $10,000
Yes.
light. It's about the same amount of time.
Mm.
So a little shift in perspective
Yep.
for a client can have a massive impact. And I mean, for me, if I can add $20,000 worth of value in an instant by having an outside look, it makes us very, very affordable.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know,
yes.
like, and look, we're I suppose we've been through the small, medium-sized enterprise stage. So and look, we're still, quite small ourselves. We're 20 staff now. I suppose we're happy to talk payment terms and all that kind of stuff. So we make it affordable.
Yeah. So where to next for éxito? What's happening?
Okay. So, like for us internally, it's all about, continual improvement.
Yeah.
And it will be for a long time.
Yeah.
Making sure that we deliver we already deliver high quality, but higher quality, faster.
Yes.
Processes, procedures. So that's our internal pieces that we're going through. But really for us is to become a centre of excellence.
Mm.
So really have the good coaches, the best of the best coaches, the best of the best financial modelers, the best of the best marketing minds, and really to become that centerpiece for SMEs, so that if they need specialist knowledge, and they need help with their business, that we can achieve that for them. So that's our grandiose.
That's a great goal, and that is part of what will be happening next year, won't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep moving towards that goal with the right philosophies and values.
So if you were to, businesses listening to us today,
Yep.
what would be a way in which you would say, if you will do this,
Yep.
what would be a good key for a business listening to help them today? What would you be advising them to do?
Can I give 3 points?
Okay, all right, yeah.
So 3 points is that there is assistance for so many businesses. I would say, whether or not they call us or talk to someone that provides grants, do the research. We've set up a specific arm to access grants. The money is there.
Yes.
There's $52.9 billion according to one of the state government. Yeah, there's 4,004 odd grants, something like that, available in Australia. There's a lot. So do the research, do it, and aim high, the third thing.
Yeah.
Don't be, as a business owner myself, why would I spend so much time and effort for a small outcome?
Mm.
Dream big.
Very cool.
That's it.
Very cool.
Well, it's a deep question because, for me, I'm a faithful man, I guess. So for me, it's about the character of Christ.
Mm.
So for me, I'm, constantly trying to marry myself up to Jesus. So from a personal development perspective, there's no better leader that I've found.
Yeah.
So, read my Bible and that. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Professional development. I actually got asked to work at one of the universities, UWA.
Yes.
So in lecturing or tutoring
Yeah.
So I'll be developing some more skills and knowledge there. And interestingly, from the business perspective, is I'm looking at all the management data structures at the moment, so I can pinpoint all my internal mechanisms like this.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at.
Great.
From a kind of business / professional development.
That's great. Great insights.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because I think people need to realise that there's quite interesting dynamics going on in a business leader's world, and understanding the various dynamics that make us up. I had an interesting client said, I want to do this, this and this. I also want to do my spirituality. And I found that was really fascinating. And I said, of course, I know about that. She said, yes, I do. And that's why I raised it, because it's an important part of my development. So I really appreciate you sharing today. It's been really interesting. And so tell us a little bit, how could people actually get in connection with éxito?
Sure.
Please. The camera, yes.
So our web address is www.axito.com.au, and you've got all the contact details and emails, phone numbers to reach out to us. And we've also got an Éxito Facebook page. So if you look up Éxito on Facebook, you've all our contact details there as well. And feel free to, we don't buy it, so if you're local, we'll buy you coffee.
Yeah.
Come for a coffee we're just based in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in East Perth.
Fantastic. Great. So either on the net or via Facebook, or drop into the CCI building for a coffee, and it'd be really good. Simon, it's been a delight to have you in the studio today.
Thank you very much.
And share your story.
Thank you.
And we're enjoying our conversations, and I really enjoy what we're doing together. And so we're doing that, and I've had Simon in the studio with us today so we can do business better. Thank you for listening to us once again. It's been a delight, and thank you for being with us in the studio, Simon.
Thank you.